Hey babes, I'm Cynthia.
And I'm Beverly. Grab your favorite drink. Let's sip and chat.
Welcome to Tipsy and Truthful, the podcast.
Period. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Tipsy and Truthful, the podcast where two best friends sip and chat about life, relationships, parenthood,
And
and everything in between. I'm gonna write it on my hand.
And cheat.
And cheat. Well, anyway, I'm one of your hosts. I'm Beverly.
And I am Cynthia.
And today we want to... Actually, no. I'm not going to get right into the topic today. Cynthia, I see that you're sporting a new haircut.
Yep.
A, you look great.
Thanks.
And B, tell us about it.
Well, it's a year of change.
Yes.
A year of new beginnings. And my hair it's been going through it since the pandemic. Which, I was thinking about this. Makes sense because, during the pandemic was when I realized so much about myself. So many things I've, set forward, like in this journey. And I feel like my hair was just not keeping up. It was trying to hold me back. It was just not receiving. It was just not cooperating. And I feel like it had like so much energy that I needed to release. And so that's why I was so adamant about cutting it all off. And I actually went to go shorter. And Shirley's like, no, bitch, we're stopping right here. I wanted to sport like finger waves. Like,
what?
Yeah. And Shirley's like, no. But I chopped it all off. And let me just tell you, I love it. I feel like it was so like, can't even explain the feeling I felt. But yeah.
A lot of women, I have to say women, because I don't think I've ever heard of a man.
Dreadlocks.
I'm right. I'm wrong. Yeah, you're right. A lot of people can relate like the chopping of the hair, like a lot of hair, to change. They say if a woman keep saying a woman, if a person chops all their hair off, like that means that a big change is coming, new beginning is coming.
And you know what now? If you really think about it, that's why so many cultures are so adamant about protecting hair, covering hair, and like just like letting hair grow because it holds so much it's such a significant, it holds so much energy and I don't know, so many different things. In different cultures, it means different things. But it makes sense why I felt that release of energy. So yeah, the curly I'm still working with because it's so short curly, like, the shrinkage is real. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with it yet. Yeah. I haven't found the style that I'm like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
I'll find it. But I wanted to straighten it to see like, oh, okay.
You look so cute.
Thanks. I feel like I'm in the 70s, with the little...
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
I blow dried it, but the ends keep turning up. I was like, I guess they're going to just stay like that. So yeah.
It reminds me of Lizzo. What did she say in her song? Shampoo press, get you out of my hair, something like that. Lizzo said it best.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But today, going back to, it's been a week. We took a shot of tequila. I did a margarita shot before. It's been a week. For me, like recording today, I'm gonna be real. For all three of us.
Yeah.
For all three of us, because Jess is here too. And she was like looking for an excuse. Like, no, bitch, we doing this.
Yeah.
It's been a week. A lot has happened. It's just been stressful. Cynthia's had to like remind me, like, okay, we're not gonna sit in the stress, we're gonna look at the positive. We're not gonna dwell on all the stuff that's going wrong. We're gonna focus on the positive. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I was spiraling hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday, and you know what? We made these intention boards, like these like big vision boards. And I keep reminding her, I'm like, babe, that energy that you want to give to negative things, close your eyes and think about everything we put there.
Yep.
And even though that this is hard and we're not feeling it because we're truthful.
Yeah.
It's Sunday. We record on Fridays.
Yeah.
So it's just been a week, and I'm giving her grace because I know it's not easy. But today I was like, we got to record today.
Yeah.
Because we got to be consistent. Like this is a commitment that we made. So I got to keep her accountable. And just, you're not escaping it.
Today was
I know, but I wanted you to be like in the right, because the thing is, we can't hide how we feel.
I can't.
I know. And I know that you can tell. And I was just like, we got to think of all the positive things because I didn't want you to not, let all that negative energy translate on camera.
It would have been not cute, I think.
Yeah, but that shall help.
I can't hide my emotions.
Me neither, though.
At all.
Yeah, no, me neither. You can tell when I'm mad.
Yeah.
Or when I'm upset.
Yeah, you
I'm like, I'm fine. Furrowed eyebrows. Yeah, I'm pissed. Yeah. So I get it.
But yeah, we're here. We're keeping it consistent. I'm in a way better mood. I'm telling you, that tequila really helped.
And it was delicious.
Thank you, Don Julio.
Thank you, babe.
Why?
Because you made it. What the
Oh,
hell?
yeah, I made it.
I'm like, what?
And I'm looking at my beautiful vision board because
Yep.
we put them on our phones as backgrounds. And it does get me in a better mood. But
It does too.
It does. But today we want to talk about something that you hear a lot: boundaries. We've talked about it a few times. We've gone into it. I guess we want to just talk a little bit more about it. So, how would you define a boundary?
It's a line, imaginary, physical, however you want to put it, that you set for others not to cross. For things that you're not willing to accept, things that are just, it's just no. It's a hard no.
It's a hard no. I think a big misconception that we have about boundaries is that it's meant to stop the other person. Really, it's meant to protect you.
Yep.
It's meant to protect you because to figure out what your boundaries are, you have to know what your standards are. So, okay, my standards are, if I tell this person that I need time, my standard is that they have to respect that and give me the time and the space that I need, for example. Just an example. So you need to first know what your standards are. And a lot of times I feel like boundaries will come because of past situations where you didn't have a boundary. And that's where you figure out, like, okay, I need to put something in place here because that was not good.
Yeah.
That was not good. Like, for me, a huge boundary is name calling.
We talked about this.
We talked about this. Like, no.
Yeah.
Don't call me out of my name. No, thank you.
Don't disrespect me.
I can't control what comes out of your mouth, but what I can control is I won't be here to hear it. Like, you can say what you want. I will remove myself from the situation because I feel like two people, especially two grown-ups, if a kid is calling me out my name, cuidado. But two adults should be able to have a conversation without calling
each other
outside of your name, you know?
Yeah.
So
for me, a boundary is yelling. We talked about this. Being yelled at for me is a hard no.
Yeah.
I will, one, remove myself out of the situation, but then talk to the other person like that is not acceptable to me. And if you do it again, this will happen.
Yeah.
Like, that's just something that I don't allow to me. It's just
tough.
A hard no.
So we were talking a little bit about how to find out what your boundaries are. So a good way, like I said, is to figure out what your standards are. So for me, a good standard is how I treat people. I expect to be treated back.
That sounds so corny, but it's so true.
It's true.
But when we're younger, we're like, oh, that's so corny. But
people say that your parents used to be like,
treat others how you want to be treated.
Do unto others, isn't that?
And I'm just like, whatever. But now,
hard eye roll.
Yeah, but now I'm just like, dang.
No, it's true.
It. Yeah.
If I'm respecting you, then I expect the same, right?
Yep.
But if you've been a person like I have, I won't speak for anybody else. I've been a people pleaser for so long.
You can talk for me.
I can talk for you too. Okay.
We talk about how much we people please all the time.
Yeah.
And how much it affects us.
Yeah. And how it has to stop. So, I mean, I feel like people are always looking for, like, okay, well, how do I set a boundary? I feel like you just say no.
And it's uncomfortable.
And a lot of times, if it's the first time and you're used to, like, if they're used to you always bending over backwards for them, being a people pleaser, they're going to get offended. They're going to think you did something wrong. It's because they're not used to it. Don't get mad at them. They will get used to it.
The problem that people need to remember is that when there has been no boundary for the existence of your friendship, relationship, and you start putting those boundaries in place, people look at it as, what the fuck? And you have to remember, you've been giving in to all these things for so long that now that you're pulling back, they're like, whoa, what's going on? So you actually have to give them grace because now they have to adjust or try to adjust to this new boundary you put in place for yourself and for them and your relationship. If they don't abide by them, you know what you need to do. Clip them. But But you also have to give people time to adjust to your new boundaries. Because it's not like just saying, this is my boundary and this is it.
No.
Like, it's a process, especially for people that are not used to that boundary being in its place.
Yeah.
You know? So.
A boundary that I've had to set in the last couple of, I want to say maybe the last year, is I've been my family secretary, my extended family secretary, my entire life. Like, legit, I filled the applications for everybody in my family for something, at least once.
Mm-hmm.
And while I love helping my family, and while I actually feel like kind of proud that they trust me, right? If you're giving me this, it's because you think that I can handle it, and I appreciate that. But where I am today in my life with 4 kids, running a business, now we have the podcast, I was taking on more than I was biting more than I could chew.
Biting off.
That's how you say?
I think it's biting off more than
I was doing that. Whatever she just said. I was taking on more than I could handle.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is I'm frazzled. I'm stressed. I take it off on the people I love the most, my poor babies. And John, he said we have to start paying him for using his name on this podcast so much.
We paid him today, though.
We paid him with a shot, so he can't say shit today. But what I realized was happening is, okay, I am extending myself more than I can handle, more than I want to.
Spreading
honestly,
yourself thin.
Because I'm saying yes to something when I really want to say no, and that's the number one thing with a boundary. Do you really want to do this? Because if you don't want to go out today, you shouldn't have to force to go out. For example, which I forced you to go out many times in the past, so I apologize. But
yeah, that doesn't count though, because I wanted to. It was just the process. I wanted to go out. It's just the process of getting ready was the part that I hated.
Well, sweetheart, now I'm setting my boundary. If I ask you to go out and you say no, I'll be like, "I deuces."
No, I get it, but I'm saying back then, because now I'll be like, "Yeah, no, babe."
Yeah,
I don't care.
No, but back then I had to drag you out of your house. I was saying yes when I wanted to say no, and yeah, no. I noticed that people get offended now.
They still do.
And it's still hard for me to say no, I'm gonna be honest.
It's a practice.
But yeah, I just can't. I'm not available for it, and I won't make myself available because it's taken away from something else that I do want to do, that I do find important. So
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Because especially going back, we've said this in many episodes, being the oldest daughter, it's just like you don't have a choice. You say yes to everything because you're kind of told. This is the expectation. Yeah. But so that you bring that into adulthood and you're saying yes to all these things that you definitely don't want to do at all. Mm-hmm. They're not serving you a purpose. And you know what's the craziest part? You do it for people, and sometimes, for the most part, people don't appreciate it. They take it for granted. Yeah. You just feel used. Yeah. Because think about how many times you needed something from their person. And how uncomfortable do you feel asking for help back?
That's another oldest daughter thing, though. We are like people pleasers. I feel like anybody who's an oldest daughter can agree. We are so used to having to do everything for everyone that we are like automatically programmed to be people pleasers and not know how to set boundaries and not know how to say no. But also definitely not knowing how to ask for help. Yeah. Because we don't. Mm-hmm. We're just like, we're fine. I got it. And I'll go to the class and cry. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. I got it. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm falling apart. Yeah. I'm falling apart. So definitely, like, setting boundaries is very uncomfortable, especially when you first start doing it. But let me tell you, the more you do it, it becomes just a normal practice. Mm-hmm. What did I say? Normal practice. I said something weird there. My mouth went. I could have sworn you said practice. I thought I finished your sentence there. No. Yeah, you did. Okay. I mean, I meant to say practice, but like the words. So yeah, it's important to understand that when you start setting boundaries, it's not gonna go as smoothly as you think in the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's gonna suck. Super uncomfortable. People are gonna look at you sideways. They're like, "Yo, she's changing. What an asshole. She's this. She's that." But one thing that is important to understand is that you have to stick it out. You have to. If you say this is what it is, don't change your mind. Yeah. That's one boundary. Stick to your boundary. Yeah. Stick to it. And it's going to suck. And it's going to be very uncomfortable. And you're going to lose friends probably. That's the truth. Let's be more positive. That sounds so bad. But if you lose friends, it's people that shouldn't. Okay. But what I'm saying is that people that don't want to abide by your new boundary, they think that you're changing or whatever.
those are people that are not understanding that now you're putting yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
And that as friends, you want your friends to be healthy.
Yeah.
And that they respect that. If they don't, then clip them.
Clip them. That's the word of the day.
Clip
them.
We're clipping people that are just weighing us down.
Yeah.
And that are not understanding that to be complete humans, you got to do you first.
Yeah. Period.
Eh.
So, in order to set boundaries, number one, remember these boundaries are put in place for you.
For you, for sure.
They're not put in place for you to control anyone else because, as we always say, you can only control yourself. Okay, so number one, figure out what it is that's going to align with what you want for your life. Okay, if something does not align, if you don't feel like doing something, if you don't want to do something, say no. Don't feel bad about it either. I'm not available for that is like my favorite thing.
No is a complete sentence.
Yes.
No, period.
So set your boundaries. Don't be afraid to do so.
You don't need to explain yourself either.
No, I feel like the first time I set a boundary, I will.
Okay, but if it happens repeatedly, you don't need for explanations.
You already know. I already told you once. And I feel like when you deliver the boundary, like don't if they get altered, don't match their energy. You stay at your own level, and you can just say, "Yeah, I just don't feel like that right now," or "I just don't.
Listen,
I'm not available for that."
And you practicing these boundaries is so important, especially if you have children.
Mm-hmm.
Because your children need to learn how to set boundaries too for things that make them feel uncomfortable, things that hurt them, things that just don't feel good to them.
Mm-hmm.
I do it with Cairo all the time. So his dad and him always play around. This is just an example. And they're rough, and I hate it sometimes because I'm just like, why are you guys so rough with each other, right? But the other day, Cairo got upset because he was like, Mom, he he pinched me too hard. And I was like, okay, what do you tell your dad? Should I tell him I don't like it? I'm like, exactly. Go to your dad and say, Papi, I'm okay with playing, but that hurt a little bit. He marches little butt to his dad.
That's a boundary.
Yeah. He marches his little butt to his dad and says, Papi, I like playing with you, but I don't like when you pinch me like that. And his dad is like, okay, I'm sorry. I won't pinch you.
So cute.
But it's important for him to know that he is able to voice these things.
Yeah.
Not only with us, but with anyone.
Yeah.
Most importantly, with anybody else. I don't want him to be taken advantage of.
And in relationships, I feel like boundaries are important too because there's certain things that are just not up to your standard that you won't accept.
Mm-hmm.
Like sleeping outside of the house, for example. Like I feel like that's a huge universal one.
You'll be surprised.
What do you mean?
You'll be surprised.
People be sleeping outside their house in a relationship? No, that's a boundary.
That's a boundary. That's what I'm saying. But for other people, I've seen it. They're like, oh, it's fine.
Ah, bueno. Then maybe
no judgment. That's your relationship.
That's my boundary then.
Yeah, but that's a huge no.
Yeah. But in relationship, it's important to set boundaries and to set them early on.
I was going to say that.
It gets harder as time goes on because, again, they're used to this. They're used to a certain way of handling things. And if something changes, it is harder to get used to it because you turn out to be the bad guy. Like, oh, all of a sudden you don't like this? Well, actually, no, I haven't liked it all along. I just didn't say anything. So if you have a new relationship, if you're not in a relationship and you have a set of standards that you know that are important to you, number one, define them to yourself. And number two, define them to your spouse or partner early on, as early as you can.
Dating.
Yeah. As soon as you can. Because
even before you become boyfriend and girlfriend, because how about if they're not willing to accept that boundary you know what it is too? People start dating and don't handle these important questions from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason is because dating culture is so fast. People don't even ask, are you my girlfriend? Are you my boyfriend? People are just like, one day you guys are just together and you're like,
and then you just move in together.
Yeah. When is our anniversary? You have to make one up because you don't even have an actual day of somebody asking you out.
Oh God, that was me and John.
That happens a lot, babe. No, that happens a lot because now people don't do the whole corny from back in the day. Like, you want to be my girlfriend? Yes,
on
no,
a piece of
maybe
paper,
so.
yes or no.
People don't text you. People don't ask you. Like, people are just together and they're together.
Mm-hmm.
And which is, I don't want to say weird, but like, I missed that from like when we were younger.
Yeah.
That was so nice to be like,
will
actually,
you be
I
my
do.
Girlfriend?
You know, I know, right? But I feel like a lot of important questions and topics are not addressed in the dating stage.
Yeah.
People rush into relationships. People rush into, and for real, no judgment. It depends what you want your relationship for. Like going into a relationship and you know, having fun is one thing. You don't care. You don't expect, not that you don't expect boundaries to not be crossed or be crossed, but like at that point, you're just like, this is not something that I'm going to pursue further. So it's not that important to me.
No, babe, because even in that, like,
And
in
I
those
understand that, but
situations,
that's what I'm saying. People don't see it that way because they're like, I'm just having fun. I don't care. You know what I'm
but
saying?
this is what I'm saying. Even when they don't use the word boundary,
Mhm.
like, let's say I'm in a casual situation, right, with somebody. Even me knowing, like, okay, for me, I'm old school. Like, I will not be paying for dinner. We're going out.
Okay, I get
I
that.
expect you to pay. Like, that's a boundary.
That's true.
For me.
That's true. That's true. I was thinking
I'm
more
old school with that.
No, and I understand that 100%. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about, you know, like relationship type boundaries, but that makes perfect sense.
No, there's like even smaller things like that. Like there's women who will not open their own door.
And hey, kudos to you.
If that's your boundary, that's your boundary. And I feel like they get villainized so much. And I feel like that's not fair because if you are a gentleman who is like, okay, you want me to open your door every time, like you're too much, then that's cool. She's probably just not the woman for you. Like, I don't think that makes her bad. I don't think that makes you bad. Y'all just need to get different people. That's it.
Because there are men that are willing to open the door every single time.
Yep.
That won't let you carry a bag up or down the stairs. That won't let you do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
That will change light bulbs for you.
Everything. Like, whatever your standards are, I promise you, there is a guy out there or a woman out there.
About boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you have to define what your standards are, and your boundaries will be set from then.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, to wrap up the boundary conversation, again, to figure out what your boundaries are, you have to look at what your standards are, set the boundary, communicate the boundary, and
stick to your boundary.
And do that.
Don't let anybody persuade you out of your boundary. Your boundary, that's it. You stick to it. And it has to be respect. But you have to first respect it yourself so that nobody knows that you're flexible with that boundary.
Exactly.
Because if not, then be like, you're not even serious about that boundary. I could do whatever I want. You got to be serious.
And the reason we thought about this as an episode is we had a Dear Cynthia that came in that had us thinking about boundaries and about trust. So would you like to read it?
For sure. This was kind of hard. I felt like it was just like, let me read it for you guys. Once again, guys, our Dear Cynthia is, I'm going to say this every time. Our Dear Cynthia is linked on our Instagram, on our link tree. You could find the link there. And it's completely anonymous. Like I can't see who sent it, nothing. It just gives me the question. I can't respond back. I have to respond on camera.
Yeah.
So there's not a box for me to respond back. Now, if you want a response back, like in private, and you don't want this to be aired out, our email is also linked to our link tree. So if you want to and you don't mind, then I will still keep it anonymous. You can send us a direct one, and it's very confidential. So I take that very serious.
And you know what? Also want to add? I'm gonna see, Jessica. Can you add each of our individual like Instagram handles? All right. So our individual Instagrams are gonna be tagged. So if you ever want to write to one of us specifically,
it's also on our Instagram. On our Tipsy and Truthful Instagram, we have both of our Instagrams at the top.
Okay. So if you want to DM her individually, you can. If you feel like DMing me individually, you can. There's lots of options.
Yeah.
So reach out.
Find out. Yeah, exactly. Find out what works for you.
Yeah.
All right. So the Dear Cynthia was, Dear Cynthia, I have a situation where trust has been challenged in my relationship. No relationship is perfect, and there hasn't been any physical cheating, but in my eyes, taking the time to flirt and talk to someone and then deleting the messages is cheating. Do you think that is possible for my other half to regain trust? Or is this just a lost cause?
That broke my heart, first of all.
Yeah.
I just want to say, if you think it's cheating, it is cheating. Okay? If it feels like cheating to you, then it is. To me, that's also cheating. If you are entertaining another person, that's a no-go for me. Emotionally, cheating is still cheating in my book. Hopefully you in that relationship defined what cheating was early on. And if you didn't, this is a good opportunity to do so. But go ahead.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think that it depends on what feels right to you. I think a lot of people do not listen to their intuition.
Mm.
And usually, listen, our gut is the most accurate, sensitive part of our body. And it's a gift. It's a gift. And we don't listen to it. We're like, you have this feeling and you ignore it. And then you find the evidence and you try to justify evidence. Your gut was telling you for a long time that something was off. Number one for me is that you need to listen to your gut.
Yeah.
As hard as it is, as uncomfortable as that feeling is, it's in our bodies, in our soul for a reason. And
Yeah.
you should not take it for granted. First of all.
She asked the question.
Yeah.
Do you think that trust can be regained? I think she said, right?
Well, we already answered, the one about the cheating. But, okay, this might be a little controversial. I'm going to be 100% honest. I think it depends on the type of relationship you guys have. Cheating doesn't have to be the end all of all relationships. As difficult as that is, and I'm not going to glorify cheating. I'm not. But it's not the end of a relationship, depending on what the relationship that you have, depending on the situation, depending if both people want to be open and honest and vulnerable and work through these things. But the reason why cheating in relationships is so detrimental to their relationships is because people are not willing to be honest and face what was done, what was said, anything. People think that lying and like hiding it is going to make the other person feel okay. And that actually makes the situation worse.
Yeah.
Like not being honest about something I've already know, it's even more hurtful because I have the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I have the proof, and you're basically you're gaslighting me to make me believe that what I saw, what I heard, whatever the situation is not real. And that is narcissistic.
Yeah.
To gaslight a person when you know they have the evidence, to tell them no. Now, so for me, trust, and this is tricky, definitely could be regained. And that's maybe controversial because a lot of people are like cheating, that's it. And I respect that because if that's your boundary, that is your boundary.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on the situation, depending on the relationship, depending if both people want to work on it, want to take the time to be honest, and it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah.
Because you're going to hear things that are going to be very hurtful. But the other person has to be willing to do the work and make you regain that trust. And it's not going to be easy for the other person either, because at that point, they're going to have to show out and be so open about everything that they're doing until you feel comfortable enough to proceed with the relationship, whether you want to or not.
Mm-hmm.
So the short answer is yes. It can be regained, but it depends on the couple. It depends on the work both are willing to put in.
Yeah. This is what I think. I think number one, exactly what you said. The person who did the cheating has to be 100% honest. Mm-hmm. You got caught. So if you want to keep this relationship, you have to be 100% honest. What led you to it? What exactly transpired? What was said? What wasn't said? It's going to hurt. It's going to suck and it's going to be uncomfortable. But if you want this relationship to work, you have to lay it all out. So that 2 or 3 months down the line, something new from that doesn't come out to the light.
Mm-hmm. Because that's even worse.
Because then I feel like at that point, unrepairable for me.
And I'm with you on that.
Because
if I give you a chance and we're going to work on this, I need you to air out all your dirty laundry.
I can't find
right
something
here,
new.
right now.
Right.
This is your only opportunity. This is the only opportunity I'm giving you. So you gotta give it to me all.
Yeah. So I feel like for me, step one is that the person who did the cheating has to be 100% honest. I mean, as uncomfortable as it sounds, 100% honest. The other person they'll have to determine how much detail they want, because not everybody wants the details, and that's cool. I wouldn't want the details. I would not.
I want the details because
I wouldn't be able to do it.
It's showing me the willingness that you have to fix this relationship.
Mm. For me, trust is such a core value.
Yeah.
That I don't know if I could move forward.
And I understand that 100%. It's like I said, it's not easy. And that's why guys, I want people to understand that one thing that happens a lot in society is judging the people that decide to stay with their spouses when something like this happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't judge. Like for
No.
me, I think it's so unfair because one, I'm not saying that cheating is okay. It's never okay. But people make mistakes. And I've seen it happen. Like people that are in very loving relationships where things happen and like I mean, it just, I guess, once again, it depends on the situation, the relationship. It's not easy. It's not. But at the same time, don't
not
judge.
impossible, right.
It's not impossible. And don't judge the people that decide to work on their relationship. Because you have to understand, and we've said this countless times in different episodes, we came from brokenness.
Yeah.
We're learning. We're all learning so
Mhm.
much about how to have healthy marriages and relationships, especially in our generation.
Yeah.
Like we're healing so much, and that comes with so much baggage and pain and hurt and mistakes that are going to be made.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not telling you that go out every week and go cheat and then expect to be forgiven every time.
Mhm.
But if this is something that happened and you were like, listen, I don't want to lose what I have with you, and I'm willing to do anything it takes to make sure that our relationship moves forward, then yes. To me, it's worth
that's the
it.
second part. So the first part, like I said, was being completely honest. The second part is the person who did the cheating. You got to be prepared to bend over backwards. Okay. And I'm not talking about like kissing ass or anything like that. I'm talking about you need to make sure that your partner has no reason to not trust you in my book. So that means that anytime that they could think that you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, you're reassuring them. Hey babe, I just got out of work. I'm running to the gym. I'll see you in a little bit. Like a quick text, like she's not asking for it, but the fact that you're going out of your way because you're trying to earn the trust back, that's gonna go a long way.
Yeah, but please don't use this as a tactic. Like I'm gonna win her back, but I'm still gonna do my dirt. This has to be honest, and like you need to be fully. What's the word I'm looking for? Like you need to be like sorry for real, and you're not gonna just like try to gain her back and then go back and do your dirt. Like I'm gonna do all this stuff so that she thinks I'm not doing anything, pero por abajo quemando.
Yeah.
Como dicen,
Mm-hmm.
because then what the fuck are you doing? That's so disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody that you know doesn't deserve what you're doing, that you're doing to them, and you continue to do this, even though they're giving you a chance when they don't have to, they don't have to.
No.
And they're giving you the chance. You're gonna do that. So it has to be like so sincere.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't go out there and like I'm gonna do all this shit so that she thinks I'm not doing nothing, but I'm still gonna do something, or vice versa. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be like just
yeah. Any
I'm
party.
so sorry.
Could cheat.
Vice versa, because this happens either. It could happen either way.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think the third part of it is the person who was cheated on. If you decided to forgive them,
that was gonna be my good job. We're here.
We're here. If you decide you're gonna forgive them, listen, babe, it's hard. You might have doubts again. You might want to bring it up every time you're mad. Don't. You decided to stay in this relationship. You decided to keep going. You can't bring it up every time you're pissed. Every time he forgets to flush the toilet. Every time she forgets to flush the toilet. Every time they leave their shoes by the door. You can't just bring it up. Like that time that you cheated. Like, no. If you really decided that you're going to try to stay in this relationship and move forward, discuss it, air everything out, cry if you have to. Whoever has to apologize, please do. And then move forward. Okay? If you're not ready to do that, if you're not ready to let it go, then you're not ready to stay with that person.
And it's not fair for the other person that's doing everything you asked of them, but you're still holding this over their head like, hey.
Yeah, but you cheated that one time. So.
Not fair.
I feel like that's why a lot of relationships do fail once there's an infidelity, because it's both sides.
Yeah.
The party who cheated has to go above and beyond, and that's hard for some people to be like, okay, I already said I'm sorry. Why I gotta kiss your ass now? Because you fucked up. Exactly. What do you mean why? So, and then the other one who said, fine, I'll stay with you. Every time they're mad, every time you're at the gym, you're like, what? You saw with some girl? Like, okay. Some guy. You want me to say guy, but that's how
I
it
get
comes
it,
up
but
naturally.
I just want to be inclusive.
I just want to be real, okay?
But that happens, but it's not.
It does happen both ways, but we hear more about the male cheating on the female. Or am I wrong or am I right?
No, but we're inclusive. We're an inclusive channel, guys.
I'm a real person.
I'm still inclusive.
I'm inclusive too. I just said both parties could cheat. I hear more about. That's just a fact. This is what I've heard more about. Is the man cheating on the woman? Does that mean that women don't cheat ever? No. Of course, there's women who cheat. Of course, there are. Anyhow, yeah. So trust is huge, and the number one thing is trust you first.
Trust your gut.
Trusting your gut is so huge. I'm here on this gut healing journey, and it's because I want to learn to listen to it. I have issues with listening to my gut,
and I've never have.
I have,
which is scary.
No, my intuition, I'll be like, I'll be trying to be logical and be like, but is my gut really saying that though?
Yeah, no.
And I'm talking about with everything, like making decisions about everything, like career choices, freaking what outfit I should wear. Like, I'm like, should I listen to my gut? It's to the
point that, once again, my mom, I'm a very spiritual person, and maybe that's part of the reason. And you know this about me for sure. I have a very sensitive spirit. And I could feel things, and since I was a little kid, man, if I tell you of every instant in my life where I've had these feelings, it's scary. Because
like Jonas's name?
Like Jonas's name. Honestly. Cairo. Just so many different situations in my life where I have to listen to my gut. And that comes from my mom. When I was little, my mom used to say, always listen to your gut. Because your gut is 10 steps ahead of you. And is always going to try to protect you. And I remember, like, there was times where a couple situations in high school where, I wanted to go out and things would happen throughout the night where, like, it just made it impossible for me to go out. And by the end of it, I'm just like, you know what? Just everything went wrong, and maybe I should just stay in. My friends would be forcing it. And there was certain situations. There was one specific situations where, friends of mine wanted to go out. I didn't, like, things just weren't working out in my favor to go out. This time I wasn't like trying purposely to, like, just things weren't happening, like, for me to go out. My dress broke and this and that. And then the ride that was going to get me, then a whole thing. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go out. What happened that night? One of my friends got into a horrible accident. And I was supposed to end up like going with them.
Oh my goodness. And
I thought to myself, if I wouldn't have listened to myself, I would have been there. Mm-hmm. And that happened so many times throughout my life that anytime I just got a weird, in college, woo, you want to go to this college party? No. My gut was like, no. No. I'm not going to put myself in harm's way with people I don't know, being roofied or, God forbid, any of the craziness. Yeah. And my gut will be like, no, you're not going. And I'll be like, okay. And I did. And you would hear situations, emails the next day of things that would happen at the place that I was supposed to go. Damn. So I'm very big on that. Like, if my gut and my intuition tell me something, listen, it's not wrong. What do I do with it is different. You know what I'm saying? Because it could tell you something and you still decide to do it. You're like, yeah, I know my gut's telling me this. But you know what? I'm going to go this way.
That means you're in tune with your body. That's something I'm working on.
Yeah.
I'm not. Ooh. My brain has always convinced my gut that it's incorrect. Like, my intuition's like, you're crazy. I'd be gaslighting myself out of stuff.
Yeah. I think that it has to do with, like, you weren't able to develop that because you were always on fight or flight. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to develop that when your body feels so chaotic all the time. It's hard to be in sync with everything. Meditation actually helps with that. Like, taking time to just sit there and feel yourself breathing. Like, there's just so many things you could do to start getting into it. I get like very Dr. Cynthia up in here. But it's the truth. Like, you can learn how to, put your body in sync. And you're doing all the right things. I think a cleanse also. Yeah. All those things help. So you'll find it. You'll find your way, Moana.
All right. Well, let me see if we missed anything. I think we went over everything we wanted to.
Yeah. The Dear Cynthia. To be completely honest, guys, I think that Dear Cynthia inspired today's episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I was like, babe, look at this Dear Cynthia. And we had a mini conversation about it, and we went in depth about it, and we were just like, this is something that people need to hear. Mm-hmm. This is something that we see all the time. And people are not ready for, like, it's hard. Navigating relationships, healthy relationships at that, is so difficult. And give yourself grace, man.
with this whole social media thing and having 100 other people at your fingertips whenever you want, it's so hard. It's so hard. But I feel like if you want
to, it's not impossible.
No, if you want to, I respect my relationship and I have social media. So if you want to do it, you will. Period. And if you don't, that's something that everybody's different. Maybe another person wouldn't consider that cheating. But I feel like if you're entertaining another person, even if it's virtual and you never see them in person, that's emotionally cheating. And to me, that's still cheating.
I get it.
So, to the person who wrote the Dear Cynthia, don't gaslight yourself out of thinking that it is not cheating. Because if it feels like cheating to you, it is. Can you repair your relationship? Yes, you can. It's going to take work from the both of you. Sit down and analyze first. Do you want to? Does your gut tell you that this is a relationship worth mending or no?
Yeah, but even furthermore, does he want to?
No, that's what I'm saying. First, you. Do what you want for. If you want to mend this relationship, if your gut is telling you that, yes, it's worth it, then have a conversation with him. Tell him the things that you're going to require in order for this to work. If he's not willing to put in his half of
We're assuming it's a he, and it could be a she. That's what I'm saying. We don't know who it is.
We don't.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like mostly women watch this podcast. Maybe that's why.
Okay, yes. We have a huge women following, but we have a few men. And how about if it was a man that wrote that?
It could be. We don't know who it was.
Wait, let me see if there was any pronouns.
We're gonna investigate. Does it say he or she anywhere?
No, he or she.
You did that on purpose. That was smart. Okay, if your partner, male, female, or non-binary,
thank you.
If your partner decides that they are, number one, willing to make it work, willing to put in the work.
After you decide first, of course.
Yeah, after you decide if this is even something you want. If you don't, clip him.
You like that?
I do.
Clip
him. Clip him, her, or they. Okay? Yeah. If your mental health, if your sanity, if your peace will be better without this person. Oh, I almost put out my middle finger. Deuces. I need to redo that. I was going to be like,
no, this is me. Welcome. You know what actually would help? If you have a hard time deciding whether this is a relationship you want to stay in, let's make it old school. Get yourself a notebook.
Oh my God, we did this.
Get yourself a notebook.
Ew, we did this.
I know.
We were drunk off of Brugal and 17.
Okay, we were definitely 17. Going through heartaches. Guys, this is...
Oh God.
Drinking Brugal from a Poland spring bottle. Anyways, that's another story.
That's a story for another day.
But I was like, babe, let's figure out if we want to stay in this relationship. Let's get a notebook. We got a notebook and we wrote a pros and cons list to our relationship.
Oh God.
If the cons outweigh the pros, honey,
clip them.
Clip them. Or clip him.
I said them. Clip them. Va seguir.
Ay, Dios, I'm sorry.
Clip them.
Okay, clip them. I'm sorry. Tijera. Tijera, because what are you doing then? You're trying to fix a relationship that at the end of the day is not even worth fixing.
We had a whole list. There was like 2 good things and like 80 bad things, and we still stayed with the people that were.
But not that. Well, for me, not that long after. Let me phrase that. For me, not that long after. I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
I did the same thing. Not listen to my intuition.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck am I doing? I'm fucking 19, young, free, in college. I said clip.
I was like 2 good things and 80 bad things. I was like, worth it. What a moron. Oh well. I'm working on it. Oh my.
Worth it. It was the way you looked at the list. With the whole cons list, lleno trabajo, and the 2 pros, like, you know what? Hey.
Nobody's perfect.
No, nobody's, but damn. No, but guys.
Don't do what I did, please.
No, don't do that. But like, it helped. It helped to put, when you write things down and you see them visually, you're like, what the fuck? That might help you. Yeah. If you need to see a physical list of all the things the ins and outs of your relationship, things you find that are positive, things that you find negative, because you don't know if you have, like, you can't make a decision that's helpful. After you make that decision, continue.
What was I even saying?
Yeah, you're like, number 1 was if you want to continue. Number 2, lay everything out But I only went back to the list
The
because
number one. That was back to the number one.
because I was like, before you, just in case it was kind of,
hard to decide if you feel like moving on. Okay, if you don't know how to trust your gut like I did, make the list.
Mhm.
Don't ignore the list like 17-year-old me did.
Worth it.
God. Talk about unhealthy attachment styles. Anyway, once you figure out yes or no, then speak to this person. If they are willing to do what they have to do, then y'all can move forward together. But don't ever bring up this shit and dangle it over them. Like, you messed up. Now you owe me for life. Don't do that, boo.
Because it's not fair to the other person.
Do that.
Especially if they showed you that they put in the work. It's not going to be an overnight process. It's going to take some time until you feel. And that's something that you have to decide until when.
And I recommend therapy. Always.
For sure. Always therapy.
Always.
I'm always going to be for therapy.
Mm-hmm. When you have somebody you have to find the right person. Mm-hmm. I feel like somebody who's in the same culture as you is really helpful. When you find somebody, a third person who doesn't give a crap about you or them, is not going to take your side just because you're their cousin, or take his side just because they're his sister. Somebody who's outside of you guys can see things that you can both improve on, can help you communicate more effectively. Do it.
I got a good one. Guys, we got to be careful who we're talking about our relationships to. People go out of their way to tell fulanita de tal, y la amiga, y la tía, y la mamá, y everybody about the intimacies of your relationship. Mm-hmm. When it doesn't work out, they're like, te lo dije.
Yeah.
And then when you get back with them, they make the healing process and the journey of you guys fixing that relationship harder. Yeah. Because they're in your ear talking all shit that is not positive.
Even if they're not. Remember, you forgave this person, but maybe your mom, your aunt, your cousin, they're not going to forgive them as quick, okay? Because they love you.
I'm huge on that. You got to protect that. And you have to be careful who you say these things to. Like with Beverly, me and Beverly can talk about anything, and she knows that it's not going to, for me, it's not going to affect me in any way. Like, I'm not going to be like, side-eyeing anybody. Like, I don't think, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I feel like our relationship is unique because you have a relationship with my partner outside of me already.
Yeah, but even if we did it.
Okay.
I think.
Because you know how to be.
I know how to be like, my relationship with you is separate from my relationship with anybody else. Or whatever, your partner or whatever.
I don't have as much grace.
I do.
I do not.
And the only reason I have that much grace is because I understand as humans that we fuck up.
Yeah. I don't. I'm super protective over Cynthia. So if anybody talks bad about her or anything like that, I'm like, you want to fight?
Yeah, because I won't fight.
I will.
Yo soy de más grande, pero pendejísima.
I need to work on that because I be getting reactive. Like no.
And I am non-confrontational. That's something that I got to work on because that was Beverly.
What was that? I didn't do anything.
The coaster. I am a very non-confrontational person. And sometimes that's hard for me because even in situations where I should speak up for myself a lot of the times, because I don't want confrontation, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to let it go.
Yuck.
Not on purpose.
Don't do that.
If it's not, especially if it's
if it's not worth it, I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
It depends on the person. I'm just like, you know what? Nah.
No, I get it.
I'm out of here.
Something I've learned as an adult, because as a kid, I was just like, no, I'm picking every fight with every person.
Yeah, I know. I'm not like that. But anyways, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like we've given nuggets of the day the entire time. But do you want to add a separate nugget of the day?
I mean, I think those were our nuggets because I feel like, one, people don't understand that boundaries, like you said, are there to protect you. First and foremost. Mm-hmm. But also let the other person where they're stopping.
Yeah.
You know, where that line is drawn, where they can't cross. It's important to know that. You know what I'm saying? Boundaries are going to make you uncomfortable. Yeah. And they're going to make everybody around you feel uncomfortable.
At first.
At first. But people that really care about you and that want a relationship with you, you know what they will do? They're just going to watch and see how you develop these boundaries and then adjust to the boundaries that you set.
If there are not people who want to, good riddance. They weren't meant to be in you. Clip them. They weren't meant to be there.
That's it. Mm-hmm. And that's it. That was, we dropped nuggets and gems and diamonds and sapphires and everything. All of them. We dropped everything
Yes.
during this episode, but it is what it is.
So I want to say thank you to he, she, they that submitted the Dear Cynthia. Please keep them coming, guys. That Dear Cynthia pretty much inspired this entire episode.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah. Submit them. Thank you so much.
They're anonymous, guys.
Completely anonymous.
Like we literally can't see an email.
We can only see what you write in the little Google form.
It doesn't give us any information. So feel secure knowing that. Like if you really want this to be anonymous, we don't know crap.
Yeah.
You will only know the information you give us.
Exactly. Don't forget, go onto our YouTube, like our videos, subscribe, do all the things. Same, we have a TikTok. Go show some love over there.
Guys,
Instagram. We're even on Facebook. Okay.
Engage. Leave us a heart, a comment, a thumbs up, a period. I don't care. If you see our video, a like no te va a matar. No te van a pagar el TikTok y el Instagram. Give us a like.
Yeah. Please. And
because if not, TikTok is gonna be like, and Instagram will be like, nobody wants to see shit.
Irrelevant.
I know. They don't put it on anybody's For You page. So anyways, yes.
So yeah.
With that being said, thank you for getting tipsy with us.
And for keeping it truthful.
Bye.
Bye-bye.